Welcome to the podcast. I'm Mike Peterson, and on my other microphone, I can't even call it mine anymore. It's hers now. The co-host, and honestly, a very patient lady, and my wife, Shelly Peterson.
Hello.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I can see we're going to be spending time in the editing booth going, I wonder if we should cut that part out.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast, we are going to stop and take a look at something. It's gained a lot of attention recently. It was really big in the late 90s, early 2000s, and recently started to gain more traction all over again. And that is a gallery reading. I want to say conducting themselves that they are able and capable to connect with deceased people already crossed over and bring that information to people that are in attendance of wherever they are, wherever the gallery reading is being held. It all started out way back when and became much more popular in the early 1800s. But back then, the gallery readings were basically a demonstration of what the medium could do. It wasn't quite what we see as gallery readings now. They've changed. And the funny thing that I looked at this, and I was looking things up and coming across some different information, there were in the 1840s, thereabout, there were two ladies, the Fox sisters, and they became very renowned for conducting gallery readings and talking to deceased loved ones and passing information and giving messages and things like that. And it was when spiritualism was really taking on its own life, so to speak. It was frowned upon by the church, wholeheartedly so. Their claim to fame was rapping or tapping. They would ask certain questions, and when they would start to get answers, you would hear a tapping sound or rapping on the table or something of that nature. And they were very young when they started, 15 and 11 years old. Again, back in the 1840s. But this is where things started to fall apart. Because when they got older and they stopped, they admitted that much of what they did was a hoax.
Okay.
And they did that when they told people about this. They would crack their joints, ankles, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They would manipulate their joints to pop and create some of that rapping effect. And this is where some of gallery readings really, they got a bad name. You know, so it started way back when. And unfortunately, it carried through and kept right on going. I find it odd. You and I, in all of our years together, we've never really spoken about mediums doing gallery readings.
No.
Is it a topic that we just never came across, or was it more of a topic that just didn't warrant a conversation?
I'm sure that it's just a topic that we never came across. It wasn't something that we discussed a lot of. There were other parts of mediums and psychics and clairvoyance that we would talk about, and that was one that never came up. Gallery readings was something that we never discussed because me personally, I've never been to one.
I have not either.
Yeah. So it's something that we have never discussed or never came across.
Now, it's funny, you know, that in all of my work and what I do, and for people that don't know me, this has been part of my life. I'm 55. It started when I was 5 years old by seeing and talking to deceased loved ones, people that were not there. And all of my family and friends told me I had an overactive imagination and all kinds of things. But when you start telling people things that you should not know because that's what they're telling you,
yeah,
you got to give a little bit of something going on. In all of my years, though, I've been asked to do gallery readings, and I've turned them down.
Why?
Because that's not my forte. My forte, the things that I love to do, is to sit, just like you and I are, right across from somebody, and to work with them, and to help them.
Yes, I agree with that, but your forte is to be there in person.
Yes.
And for you to have a gallery of people,
see, now
I personally think that is your place. That is something that you would enjoy very much.
I enjoy getting up in front of a crowd and talking and teaching or giving instruction or, talking about anything metaphysical, spiritual, or theological. I love getting up in front of a crowd and doing that.
But that would be the same thing in a gallery reading.
To me, it's not.
Yeah.
Because the gallery readings that people do now they stand up and they start to connect with another spirit or somebody that's passed on, and then they ask questions and kind of narrow down where in this crowd is the person that I need to connect with. Because there's no way that any medium can stand up there and go, I'm getting you right over there.
I understand that.
So to me, a gallery reading is just, it's not my preferred format. I love doing one-on-one readings. I love small group readings. And yeah, that's somewhat, if you're saying a gallery reading, but to stand up in front of 300 people and do a work of mediumship, it doesn't tickle my fancy, believe it or not.
I understand where you're coming from, but for me, a gallery reading shouldn't be 300 people. I understand there's people that do gallery readings that are a lot of people. But to me, that's an
overpopulated?
Overpopulated amount of people to be doing a gallery reading. It's too much.
And I agree with you.
To me, it's too much.
But that's how a lot of the people that are doing gallery readings now are doing things. They want 50, 100, 150 people. The more people they can pack in there. And she's making this sign with her fingers that says money now.
Yes.
See, this is where I run afoul of a lot of things, and especially with the metaphysical community and other readers, because I work as a psychic, I work as a medium, I work as a life coach. I've been doing it. I've done more than 45,000 readings in 16 years, and I am very opinionated when it comes to you're smiling. Mm-hmm. Why?
No, I'm listening to you. Please.
Hey, I'm very opinionated.
Yes.
About how things are, how they go. But for me to tell somebody, well, that medium over there is not doing anything that they should be doing, that's like the pot calling the kettle black. One, where do I get off coming across and saying something like that? That's condescending on my behalf. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't work the same way they do, and they definitely don't work the same way I do.
No, everybody has their own way of working, but you still have your scammers out there.
And that's where part of this topic and this podcast comes into play. Because when Shelly and I sat down and we looked at topics, and I pulled this one up, and her face kind of went, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a rough one. There are a lot of people out there that are used car salesmen when it comes to being a medium.
Yes.
And they do more along the lines of what is called cold reading.
Yes.
They'll get close and they might hit some things and they might not hit some things.
They fish for answers.
They ask questions that are leading and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, for people that have been to gallery readings, they'll notice that things either are one of two ways. I would understand it this way. One of two ways. It's either all spot on, or the whole night seems to be kind of a hit and miss show.
Yes.
And there are mediums out there right now that are coming across more. I don't want to say that they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. But again, this is me saying, I almost want to call BS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me also.
You know,
yes.
We both know some of the readers that are doing gallery readings that should not be at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to name names because it's not my place to do so. That's like somebody going, oh, yeah, that Mike Peterson guy, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's full of a crock. And, okay, everybody has their own opinion, but it's just in this instance, I become very opinionated and very upset about things. I'm going to change topic or change avenues, whatever, just real quick. The Long Island medium, Teresa, and what's her last name?
Caputo?
Thank you. Because I know if I tried to say it, I would do nothing but follow it up, and I don't want to do that. But she had a claim to fame because she had a television show, but she was doing the mediumship work before the TV show ever came along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm sure that there's a lot of validation that has happened and a lot of indication. But I have, in speaking with people through the years, people got turned off by her because, again, they were looking at her and saying she's doing this for money, not so much for the work in and of itself.
Yeah.
I do not believe there are many readers, psychics or otherwise, that do things just for the work. Meaning, hi, my name's Mike. I'm out here. I'm going to give readings. I'm not going to charge anything. This is just what I need to do because I'm on a mission. I don't run across those very often, like next to never. So everybody that's in the field, in some shape or form, is doing it for money. I do this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes.
I spoke with you 18 years ago and said, hey, I need to leave my day job. And you said, go for it. We talked about it for a long time.
Yes.
Did you ever watch The Long Island Medium?
No.
See, now that's another thing. I never have either.
No, I've not watched one episode of it.
And it's difficult for me to sit here and pontificate and say things about something that I've never seen.
You know, you and me both.
You know, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I've heard different aspects of it, things like that. What are your overall thoughts about a gallery reading?
Well, here again, I can't speak from experience because I've never been to one. But viewing them and seeing them, my thoughts on them are almost as in it's a reading. You just happen to have a group of people there.
Okay.
You pick up on, here again, like you said, you pick up on one person or something, and yes, you have to zone in and find that person.
Mm-hmm.
When you find that person, proceed with your reading. Me, oh sure, I would love to go to one. I would love to experience one. I can't guarantee that they would pick up on anything of me, but I would love to experience one. But I see nothing, wrong with them. I think I would enjoy going to one.
It brings me to my next person that I wanted to talk about, John Edward.
Mm-hmm.
And John Edward had the television show Crossing Over, and he's massively popular for
yes.
it. Similar in nature to James Van Praagh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know a lot about James. John Edward I studied in detail. And he gets a lot of people that show up to attend his show.
Yes.
I mean, a lot, like 500, a lot.
Yeah. To me, that's a little much, but...
And again, I go back to where I was saying earlier, the gallery readings were meant more as demonstration of capability.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that I know or that it holds true for every medium, but I know how I work as a medium. I know what it feels like to connect with people that have crossed over or spirits that are on the other side. I know what it feels like, and I know how I have developed my own way of getting the information through.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know what you're going to say. Different people do different things different ways.
I understand that, but I mean, I would agree with you to a point as far as it turning into a three-ring circus when you start to get 500 people. Because here again, you know me. A lot of it comes to money. Mm-hmm. The more people, the more money. You have so many people out there that, I can't say so many, but you have, here again, still have your scammers out there, your fakes, and then you've got the real, but it only takes one to ruin it for the whole bunch.
Much like the Fox sisters back in the...
Yeah, it only takes one. So I can understand where you come from as far as in the way you do things, and then somebody else does it differently. You know, at first you pay attention going, okay, is this person real? For real? Or is this person just trying to fish for answers and a fake kind of person?
Let's assume for a moment that the person is real and there's 300 people in attendance. A very large number of those people are hoping that they will receive some information from somebody that they've loved or their past or somebody that has crossed over.
Yes.
So let's, grins and giggles, you got 285 people that are hoping to hear from somebody from the other side. That's why they are in attendance. It is damn near physical impossible to get 300 readings done in an evening. See,
exactly, but by bringing in those 300 people, at how much a head?
Yeah, I know.
And what? The person doing the gallery reading might only read for...
a couple of hours.
Yeah, and you might read for what? 5 to 8 people? Mm-hmm. I mean, comfortably?
Yeah.
Out of 300, but you're getting all that, here again, money for those 300 people. But out of those 300 people, less than 10 of them get a reading.
Now, this touches on a couple of things. And you know, I have said this from day one when I finally stepped into being a reader full-time and it became my profession.
Mm-hmm.
I only read for the people I am supposed to read for in any given day, at any given time.
Yes.
I used to go to psychic fairs, and I would want to make money. I would like to do 15 readings in a day while I'm at this fair. And I still walked in saying, I'm only going to read for the people that I am meant to read for today.
Yes.
And I might do 3 readings. And people would go, oh my God, Michael, you only did 3 readings today. Are you doing okay? I'm doing fine. Mm-hmm. But the people that were asking, oh, you only did 3 readings. Well, they're the ones that are there more to make bank than they are to do the work.
Yes.
Brings me to point number 2. There's a lady I know. And this has nothing to do with Led Zeppelin or a stairway, okay? There's a lady I know, and you know who I'm talking about, went to see and be part of the group for John Edward. And she said there were 500 people in attendance that evening.
Mm-hmm.
John read for 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
And each reading was in depth. And she didn't tell me everything that happened during that evening, which is fine, because it's difficult for people. But she was one of the people that he read for. Roll things up about what we were saying earlier, where people are very skeptical.
Yes.
Or they're very anti-whatever, spiritualism, metaphysical, whatever you want to call it. After she had that happen to her, and in the following couple of months, I'm not going to say that she was verbally accosted, but it was pretty damn close. People were telling her she was set up. People were telling her she was researched. That's how John knew. People were telling her what you heard was a bunch of garbage. None of it was true. And I got to put this out there, folks. This lady went to get her ticket the night of. And she paid cash.
Mm-hmm.
Did not use her name, did not use any identifying marks, nothing. So she was anonymous. When John Edward called on her, he mentioned 2 people that had passed and that were connected together on the other side. And he named them by name.
Yes.
Now, I know there was a series of conversation that went back and forth, and he asked some questions. But this is where it gets interesting for the people that don't believe. John told her, the one person, what the last gift that person gave to her and what that person's favorite movie was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can take statistics to the nth degree. There is little to no way that he would know any of that information at all.
No.
And I cannot see that information coming up even in a cold reading, which tells me, personally and professionally, John Edward was doing exactly what he said he was doing.
Yeah.
He was presenting information from the other side to this lady.
Yes.
And you hear about this all the time from people here, there, well, yeah, so-and-so went here and so-and-so saw that person over there. But for me, in talking with this lady about all of this, and I trust her implicitly,
mm-hmm.
So she's not going to tell me a falsehood. And it changed her life. Having that experience with John Edward helped her understand beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was a heaven and that there are angels.
Yes.
It cemented it and clarified it almost automatically for her. The realization of what had just happened. Do you believe that that is truly possible for that to happen? For John Edward to be able to have that information to pass along to her?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe in that. Oh, sure I do. Yes. For sure.
See, this, and again,
yes.
A little bit different. You grew up where metaphysical and spirituality was part of your everyday life.
Yes.
To the point where your Aunt Mickey was a reader.
Mm-hmm.
And was more a tarot reader than anything.
Yes.
To me, that, for the longest time, you didn't talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No. So it's interesting to hear your side of things.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you would go and see, or you would go to attend a gallery reading.
Yes. Not a big one. I would definitely pick and choose. But I would at least like to see. Just to be there, to see, oh my goodness, to see how it unfolds, to see what happens.
As in the process of? Or
The process of, yes. And to actually see that person giving the reading. You know me, I'm hands-on.
Oh, yeah. You're tactile.
I'm hands-on. I can't, and I read people differently than you do.
Very much so.
So, yes, I would like to be able to experience one at least one time.
Well, we're definitely going to have to go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But here again, this is a topic that you and I have never really spoken about.
No, we've never discussed it.
No. We've been married 25 years, folks, and
yeah,
we've never had this conversation before.
We've discussed a lot under the sun, but that's not one of them.
Yeah, some things good, some things not so good.
Yeah, that's not one of them.
So if you were to turn around and you were to tell somebody, okay, go to a gallery reading, what kind of information would you forearm them with? Would you give them any beware of? Would you give them any?
I can't. I'll be honest with you, I can't, because I don't know them. I've not experienced it, and I've never really even watched one. Okay, I take that back. I've watched two, because I watched two of John Edwards on TV before. Mm-hmm. So I don't see that it's my place to tell them to be aware of anything when I don't even know what the process is or what would be going on. I mean, yes, I know gallery reading, I know the gist, but I've not experienced it. I've not really seen it. I've not really felt it. So I can't really give anybody any kind of information on that. It would ultimately have to be up to them. Is that something that they're willing to pay for a 1 in 500 shot of saying, okay, they're going to call on me. Mm-hmm. They're going to pick up on something on me. Because here again, like I said, 500 people there, and he might read for 5 to 8 people max.
Yeah.
Less than 10 people. The price of it?
It gets
okay,
a little
are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do that and pay for that without the guarantee that you're going to get a reading or that he's going to pick up on somebody or something from you? It's not a guarantee.
No, God, no. It's never a guarantee that they're going to do it.
Nothing in life is a guarantee, so...
But would you personally say you are prejudiced against gallery readings because of the bad actors and the bad apples that are out there?
No, I can't. Here again, you're right. There's bad actors and there's bad... But for me, some of it takes some common sense. I don't know, it's feelings. It's common sense, it's feelings. I guess I've been around it long enough. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you and I, yes, we're different. I was raised in the spiritual side of things. You were looked down on when you said, I never was. That was just part of my life from day one. It's not something that I can say I'm, prejudiced against. I pay very close attention to what is happening, to my surroundings, to the person doing it. If you're looking at somebody that you've never heard of that's doing a gallery reading, you better do your research first. To me, that would be common sense to say, let's do some research on this person that I've never heard, but they're giving out gallery readings for $15 a ticket. Well, that's a red flag right there for me. But so I can't say that I'm prejudiced against it, but...
Okay, curiosity. Let's say, and people you've got to know, I do not read for my friends, and I do not read for my family, and I most certainly do not read for my wife, because I don't want to know. In all the years, we've never really had this conversation either. Does that bother you? That I won't read for you or answer questions?
No. Because my father does tarot.
Right.
He reads for himself all the time. my Aunt Mickey never read for herself.
Yeah, I don't.
She never read for family.
I don't read for friends and family because it offers, you get into a lot of trouble real quick.
Yes, you do.
You know, when you start telling people truthful kinds of things and that person is not ready to hear it, you get smacked in the face pretty quick. All right, so is there anything that you would want to tell people about gallery readings as we get ready to close this out?
Oh, I can't say there's a whole much, but here again, just be aware of the person that's giving the gallery reading. Do your research on them if it's somebody that you've never heard of before. Mm-hmm. And go from there.
I would tell people much the same thing. Do your due diligence. Look into, see what kind of history they have. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But if it does not feel comfortable for you, do not be afraid to stand up and walk out.
No.
You are not trapped there. You are not chained. There is nothing saying you have to remain for whatever specified time.
Yes.
If you are uncomfortable, and this goes for any reader, any situation, anybody you would go to see. If you are uncomfortable, stand up and walk out. Be polite. This brings it to a close. Thank you. But I no longer am comfortable. I'm going to leave.
Yes. I agree.
So that's our take on gallery readings. We're going to come back again next week with a very different kind of topic. It'll be one that she chooses this time. Until next time, everybody, if you have questions or you want to find out a little bit more about who we are, what we're doing, go to psychicgraffiti.com and you'll be able to check out some of the things that we have. We have different shows that are accessible to the membership of Psychic Graffiti, and you can go there, psychicgraffiti.com, to check out what other shows, what other content we have. I'd be more than happy to have you there. Until next time, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.